Welcome back. A couple of these mid-cap stocks, they're gaining some steam as we speak. While all the financials are not doing very well, Muthoot Finance should come up for you. That one's gaining ground. Majority of the gains for the day have come by just in the last 15 odd minutes. So Muthoot Finance is one of the stocks which is seeing a bit of a vertical rally with a fair amount of volume picking up as well. Ajanta Pharma is the other one, which has moved around 3.5% as we speak. And majority of the gains on that one too coming by just in the very recent few minutes and with volumes picking up out there as well. But we're answering all your stock queries, and we have another one coming to us from Andhra Pradesh this time. Mr. N. Venkateshwara Rao writes to us from Andhra Pradesh, wants to invest 20,000 rupees in Gateway Distillery Parks for the medium term, wants to know the right time to enter the market. Vijay, Gateway Distillery Parks, what would your view on this stock be? 20,000 to be invested in this. The stock has seen a fair amount of correction, but as compared to Container Corp, it does not have as much market share. So between Gateway Distillery Park, Container Corp and this whole logistics space, what would your view be?
Well, I think that, there's a lot which should happen before we'll see an uptick in the logistics companies. Look at Blue Dart, look at Snowman, look at, companies like VRL Logistics, Gati. None of the companies have done anything in the last couple of years. And the reason is that there is a definite slowdown happening on the ground. And it is quite visible. Leave the top 20-30 companies on Nifty. I think that, things in the MSME space, in the SME space, even today RBI governor had a very clear discussion on how to revive the MSME, how to give them more money, and how to increase and, boost business. So I would say that, it's better to stay away. If it's a new investment, why to be in the logistics space at the first place? So why not choose some good government bank? Why not choose some good consumption story? Rather a Colgate or an ITC, a blue chip company would be a better bet at this point of time rather than getting into something which is sketchy. And there we have to see that how the election year goes, how the new government comes, and what kind of spending happens on the ground, and what kind of infra push we have. So all these things are related. The roads, the logistics piece, and the companies, and the overall growth on the ground. I think that one should stay away from logistics space with at least 6 to 7 months in perspective. After that, we'll see how the market pans out, how the things happen. But I would not recommend to be in the logistics space as of now.
Okay, all right. So no for logistics coming in from Vijay. But let's get to another query now. We have Mr. Manikam who writes to us from Tamil Nadu. He holds 200 shares of Graphite India at 970 since the past 2 months. Medium-term investor and wants to know whether to hold or sell. Well, the questions and the opportunities for Graphite continue to come in terms of queries coming in with regards to opportunities. But Prakash, what would you recommend on Graphite, because that's such a coveted stock to a certain extent? It was so spoken about in 2018 in terms of the kind of gains that we saw. What would you recommend at these for our query?
It's a difficult proposition, honestly. Basically, the structure is positive. All-time high is around 1125. Now, steadily is coming down. It's come down so much that it's stretched on the higher time frame basis on the downside, which basically means a corrective up move is possible. Now, if you get a corrective up move, exit. I would like to be in the stock which has come down so much. Unless your perspective is long-term and I don't understand fundamentals, I prefer go to Vijay.
Okay, Vijay, what would you recommend on Graphite fundamentally?
Well, again, the story is intact. If you look at the entire carbon story and the EV story, it is still there. And if you look at the larger picture, maybe 5-10 years down the line, we would probably see this, fossil fuel, driven cars and vehicles. They would be history. There are companies like Electra. There are other companies. Mahindra is also working on the EV. And I think that most of the companies in the auto space are working on EV. And, that makes companies like Graphite, Philip Carbon Black, Himadri Specialty Chemicals very exciting if you look at the next 5-10 years. But yes, with a shorter term perspective, I think that there could be some amount of pain. So I would recommend that, if at all you are holding stocks, hold with a stop loss, because, markets have become a bit wild, and this is election year and we will see a lot of volatility happening. So hold with a stop loss of 704. And I would recommend that, this could be a potential multi-bagger of the future if there is no corporate governance issue in the company. So fundamentally speaking, this area is a good area to be invested in. But again, with a longer term perspective. In the short term, there might be hiccups.
All right, in the short terms, there might be hiccups as far as graphite is concerned. The long-term story is intact. Before we go on to the next query, just keep an eye out on DHFL. That one seems to be hitting the lows of the day, and all through the day, in fact, when it opened, it has been seeing selling at every rally. So every time it's attempted to move back into the green, we have the stock falling. In fact, just as we speak, coincidentally, we have a query coming in on DHFL. Happy Agarwal, okay, he writes to us from Mumbai, holds about 500 shares of DHFL at 280 rupees, and he's been holding it for the last 3 months. A medium-term investor wants to know whether to hold or sell. Well, Happy is not particularly happy because he bought it at 280. In the last 3 months, it's become 235. What would you suggest?
Losing less, exit.
Okay, losing less, exit. Vijay, you have something that can make Happy happy?
Well, I would always say in such markets when people try to catch the falling knife, and it happened with DHFL, a stock trading at 650 odd and, coming down crashing below 200. People think that, they have got a bargain, but there are unseen problems in the counter. You've seen what has happened with Vakrangi, PC Jewelers, and the list is long. Even Quality Dairy, DHFL is one of those, India Bulls is one of those, Yes Bank is one of those. So again, if you have a very huge appetite for risk, you stay invested. Otherwise, I would not recommend to be in any of these NBFCs which have been rejected by the market. So again, stay with HDFC, the top one on the top rank companies. I think the chances of going wrong are very less, and even if these stocks fall, they'll come back very sharply. So I would recommend an exit on rallies.
Okay, all right. Well, that's the query.